On the edge of the shimmering desert of Carthion 5, where metallic sands glittered under two pale suns, James Hale, a human engineer, surveyed the broken transmitter arrays half buried in dunes. The desert was silent, except for the hum of distant geothermal vents and the whisper of drifting silver grains. Humanity had arrived on Carthion 5 barely 3 months ago, and already the frontier colony was struggling. But James had a reputation among the crew. If something was impossible, give it to him. Nearby, the expedition's xenobiologist, Rose Alden, tightened her scarf against the wind. "Your readings are off again," she said, checking her slate. "There's something alive out there. Something big." James laughed softly. "Rose, on this rock, everything is big. Even the beetles look like armored trucks." But when the sand trembled beneath their boots, both humans froze. A deep thrumming echoed across the plain, not mechanical, not wind. Something living. Before either could react, a sharp, panicked cry sliced through the air, a voice, a sentient voice. "James, did you hear that?" Rose whispered. He didn't answer. He was already sprinting toward the sound. They found her half submerged in a pit of quicksand, a dragon woman, tall, lithe, covered in iridescent crimson scales that shimmered like molten glass. Her wings, trapped under the sand's weight, quivered weakly. Her golden eyes widened when she saw James approach. "Stay back," she rasped, struggling to keep her head above the sinking grains. "Your kind cannot help me. It is death." James ignored the warning. "Rose! Anchor line!" Rose threw him the reinforced carbon fiber rope. In one smooth motion, he tied it to a jagged basalt rock and flung the other end toward the dragon woman. "I can't! Your sand will take you!" she choked. James grinned, breathless. "Lucky for you, I'm stubborn." With muscles burning, he pulled. The sand resisted violently, as if alive, dragging her deeper. Rose added her strength beside him, boots digging into the shifting ground. Inch by inch, the dragon woman's torso emerged, then her wings, then her tail. Finally, with a last heave, she burst free, tumbling forward onto solid ground. For a moment she lay still, wings spread, chest rising shakily. Then she looked up at James. Really looked, as if seeing a creature she never believed could exist. "What are you called?" she asked, voice soft and reverent. "James." "And this is Rose," he said. "We're humans." The dragon woman's eyes glimmered. "I am Sirala of the Emberclaw tribe, and you have saved my life." Rose smiled gently. "Anyone would have done the same?" "No," Sirala whispered, shaking her head. "Not anyone." With a sudden beat of her wings, she lifted herself, hovering briefly before rising into the desert sky. "I will return," she said simply, and vanished. 2 days passed. James returned to repairing the transmitters. Rose cataloged desert spores. The colony went on as usual, but something felt different. Desert winds carried new sounds, rumbling, heavy, rhythmic, like thunder, but not quite. Then the horizon darkened. Rose lifted her binoculars. Her jaw dropped. "James, you may want to see this." He took the binoculars, looked, and froze. Marching across the dunes in a massive V formation were dozens of dragon people. Red, gold, blue, obsidian, all shimmering under the suns. Their wings created gusts strong enough to carve trenches in the sand. Spears of crystallized plasma glowed in their hands. At the center walked Sirala. The colony alarms began to scream. Humans ran for shelter. Automated cannons booted up, targeting systems flickering red. James sprinted to the command deck. "Stand down!" he shouted. "They're not attacking!" Commander Briggs glared at him. "You don't know that!" "Yes, I do." Rose rushed in behind him. "If they wanted to kill us, the sky would already be on fire." Reluctantly, Briggs lowered the defense grid, but kept his finger hovering over the manual override. Outside, the dragon tribe approached the base entrance, stopping only when Sarala stepped forward, her wings folded in a gesture of profound respect. "James Hale of humanity," she called out. "The Emberclaw tribe honors your courage." James stepped outside despite Briggs's protests. Rose joined him. The heat rippled around them as one by one, massive dragon warriors bowed their heads. Sarala gestured to the towering figures behind her. "These are my kin. When I returned to them, injured yet alive, and told them a human pulled me from death, they did not believe me, so I brought them." Her golden eyes softened. "We repay life with life." Rose blinked in surprise. "Repay? With what?" Sarala spread her wings wide. "Knowledge, alliance, strength, whatever your people need to survive this world, we offer." James exhaled slowly. He had expected gratitude, but not this. Briggs stormed out, armor clanking. "We don't need aliens marching into my colony." A dragon warrior stepped forward, towering over him like a living fortress. Briggs went silent. Sarala lowered her head. "Commander of the humans, we mean no harm, but your engineer risked himself for one of ours. We do not forget such deeds." James looked around. The tribe wasn't threatening. They were reverent. Rose whispered, "James, do you realize what you did? You just created first contact." Over the next hours, the desert transformed into a place of strange harmony. Dragon warriors demonstrated how to read sand currents to predict storms. Their healers shared resin salves that mended wounds in minutes. Their elders exchanged knowledge about geothermal networks buried beneath the dunes, the same ones humanity had been trying to map for weeks. At one point, a young dragon child approached Rose shyly and touched her hand with warm, scaled fingers. "You saved Sarala?" she asked. Rose laughed. "No, that was James." The child scampered to James and wrapped her tail around his leg in a gesture that startled him into stillness. "She says you are family now," Sarala translated. James blinked. "Family?" Sarala stepped closer, her voice warm. "Among us, one who saves a life becomes bound to the fire of that life. You have a place with the Emberclaw." Rose grinned. "See, James? Told you helping strangers pays off." For the first time in days, the colony felt alive, not struggling, not desperate, but hopeful. And for the first time, the Emberclaw tribe saw humans not as invaders or wanderers, but as allies. That evening, as two suns dipped below the dunes, Sarala stood beside James atop a ridge overlooking both tribes, human and dragon, mingling around shared fires. "You changed the future of this world," she murmured. James shook his head. "I just pulled someone out of the sand." Sarala smiled, a rare, warm, almost human expression. "Sometimes," she said softly, "that is all it takes to turn strangers into a tribe." And under the glowing twin moons of Carthion 5, humanity earned its first true friends in the stars, not through war, not through treaties, but through a single act of courage in the heart of a desert.